You are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency. Let's take a look at the stories playing out now. Hi everyone. Let's take a look at the Sabian Symbol imbued at the 12-degree Cancer new moon. The energies of this symbol are going to be influencing the energies for this entire 28-day cycle. The symbol is a hand with a prominent thumb held out for steady. This is referring to the energies of determination, analyzation, and I think discernment over the course of this period. There is going to be a determination and a confidence. There's going to be maybe an educative role in the discernment that is taking place. There's a lot of information online. There's a lot of information in the field. It is overwhelming. It is flooding us. This is a month, as have previous months been, but this looks like a very highlighted month to practice our discernment. Hi everyone. Welcome to July 2016. So I'm doing this a little bit differently this month. First of all, I wanted to be on camera a little bit more this month, back like I used to be. The other is it's here outside and it's a beautiful day. Sunday morning, Father's Day actually. So we're imbuing the energies a little bit with maybe an honoring of the divine masculine. Who knows? Maybe that was the reason why this wanted to happen. So I also wanted to thank everybody on camera to all the well wishes that I received. I'm certainly not alone. There's a lot of people whose body systems are activated by the energy shifts going on, and really the cellular and genetic shifts and changes and alterations that are activated within all of us right now. So indeed, shadows are coming up, karmic patterns coming up. It's been that way for many, many months now. And the bodies are feeling great fatigue and other things happening as a result of these shifts and changes that are just part of the natural evolutionary maturation process for humanity, for the collective. We're literally going from toddlerhood, really more adolescence, but in a way it almost feels like toddlers to teenagers. And I think for some people it's like that, but I think for the vast majority of the collective, it is a bit like we're adolescents, entitled, and we're ready to mature. At least life is ready for us to mature. We need to mature because it's done its run. The adolescent state of humanity has run its course, and now we are maturing, and that's part of the difficulty and the challenges, energetic and otherwise, with regards to the unfolding, the pressure to step up. And I've said that actually for a long time since I've started these scopes, but it really is the truth, and it is becoming exponential. And this year, it really is the year of freedom and alignment. I've said that forever. People are calling it different things, but ultimately this is a time of becoming freed from karmic patterns, not just for our life stream, but for all of our life streams, and not just for us, like our particular soul's journey and its combination as it relates to these other life streams that we're part of and participating in, but the collective. That's the pressure that so many of us know is at hand. That's the pressure that we feel because we get the bigger story of what is unfolding. So us healing self is inherently, as it always does, heals other. As within, so without. As above, so below. So when we shift, it shifts. When we shift, our perception shifts, and everything that we perceive thus shifts. That's just the way it works. That's the way consciousness works. So, yeah, but there's other things at play. There's a lot at play. The energies that are shifting and changing, raising, the frequency is raising, and thus things are becoming more and more transparent. So the solidity that was holding in heavier frequencies can't be hidden anymore. Thus, all the 12th house, past life, parallel life stuff coming up to the fore, right? So I won't go too much more into that. There'll be more coming from me, much more. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my cards because this month I'm going to do art and cards. We're going to do a little Andy Goldsworthy, working with nature, with at least with some Himalayan sea salts and some pebbles. Maybe some crystals too. We'll see what I have, but I'm going to gather a collection, so we do essentially a little bas relief of each sign, and we're going to use imagery. Again, we're all channels. We're all channels. So I encourage all of you to channel writing, art, drawing, whatever it is. But the fact is, we're always channeling, always, every day. So when we can tap in and we can make that connection, then when you put that charcoal on the art paper, or if you are working with natural elements, you know, even with geomancy, throwing sticks or bones or stones, which is not what I'm going to be doing for this cycle, but something similar. So I'm just going to be using natural elements and molding them in a drawing, essentially. So it's the same as using pencil on paper. So I'm excited to do that because I've, again, just like the previous month, I don't know how it's going to go, and I'm excited to see. But now I have my Carolyn Mace archetype cards, and so what I'm going to do, what's a little bit differently this month, is I am going to pull essentially the maturation. So what is it that's asking to be grown and attended to in your life during this month? First, I'm going to pull it first, and then we're going to see what comes. You know, what comes? What is it that wants to be X, Y, or Z? Whatever this card comes for you, and we'll pull the art and we'll pull the cards and we'll just see what the rest of the message is. Okay, so let's take a look. Pisces. Okay, so let's tap into July 2016, this Cancer new moon cycle, and we're pulling up the quality set, the aspect of self that will be pushed during this cycle, or likely, this is a general reading, but what is likely to be pushed, at least for the collective of the Pisces demographic, for growth. So what are the events and circumstances going to push you to grow and mature within yourself over the course of this cycle? Pisces, July 2016. Pisces. Wow, look at this. So Heroine is coming up. We're going to move on now to your reading, and I'll go ahead and discuss this archetype that's coming up there. All right. Pisces, welcome. So let me tell you what we're going to do here today. I've already started shuffling for you, but I'm going to finish shuffling. We're tapping into the demographic of Pisces, centric scope people. And we're tapping into what the general evolutionary unfolding is. What is it? What event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come forward to grow and mature you over the course of this Cancer New Moon 2016 cycle, okay? So I'm going to finish doing this, and then I'm going to cut the cards and set them aside, and then I'm going to create essentially an artwork. I'm going to channel forms using my stones and my Himalayan sea salt and my crystals. And it's been really fascinating so far. It's been really gorgeous. And I have to say, just like with the channel drawings I did a couple months ago, they're coming just organically, quickly, naturally, effortlessly. It's beautiful. So let's go ahead and focus in on your spread. And then what I'll do is I'll analyze, we'll lay the spread and then we'll analyze all of it together. So let's take a look. So Pisces, what event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come forward for the majority of Pisces-centric scope people over the course of this evolutionary chapter, Cancer New Moon 2016, July. Or Pisces. Interesting, I wanted to say Cancer there. So, yeah, okay. Pisces. Pisces, Pisces. What event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come forward for Pisces. Right off the top. Okay. So Pisces, we're going to set that aside. That's cut and ready to pull. Now, what wants to come for Pisces? Put this over a little bit like this. As I've said on at least one of the other scopes that I've filmed Pisces, if you are not aware of Andy Goldsworthy, and if you have not yet seen Rivers and Tides, I highly encourage that. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. And his work has inspired now countless nature artists. Pisces. It feels like that's all at Pisces, actually. They've all been simple, though. That's part of the beauty of working with the stones and the salt and the crystals, is that it just brings kind of the direct forms. Even without the nuance, though, there's the relationships of the in-between. So we'll talk all about this. So let me put my goodies aside here. Okay, so actually, you know what I'm really kind of wanting to do, though, is put this here. So I haven't brought this out yet. This is a piece of selenite, and this, I think this is kind of the final component. It wanted a grounding piece, I think, after I thought it was complete. And you're the first one to receive this piece. I've not used this for anybody else, and so this is power. It feels very powerful for me. So we'll talk about it. Let's go ahead and pull your spread, and we'll see. So there's a couple difficult cards here, definitely. Stop, I have to tell you, the stop card has come up twice already in other spreads that I've done. So yeah, there's some stuff that is ending, transitioning, coming to a close. Let's talk about it, you guys. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, certainly June was intense, but you know, because of the grand mutable cross that had the Sun, Venus, and then later it was occupied by Mercury. In fact, as I'm filming this now, it's occupied by Mercury. So very, very catalyzing, adjusting, transmutating process that all of us are going through. But indeed, for some of us, July is going to continue with process, which is not unusual. You know, a lot of us want it to just be done and over with. You know, we want the difficulty to just be over with, but that isn't changing what's happening. What's happening is we're growing up, and because of that, it's going to take a while. You know, we're going through a multi-year event, essentially, and we have been since, gosh, 2010. Okay, everybody, let's take a look at it. There's something, you're going to be at the center of the Cancer New Moon July 2016 cycle. There are eliminations at play. So it could be that you are choosing to eliminate people, relationships, jobs, stuff, like literally material possessions, or that you have eliminations going on in your reality. So friends, family, etc. might be purging. And it's not just having a garage sale. I'm talking there might be some bigger things that leave, that go, that do. This is, you can see this image. It's a woman burning fall leaves, you know, in the fire. So the elimination is cleansing. It is healthy. It is necessary. So this is a time of voluntary elimination, is essentially what I want to say. So it could very well be that you or people in your sphere are voluntarily eliminating, selling their cars, selling their goods, leaving their jobs. Could very well be that people are leaving their jobs. Now, there's something going on. You're going to be mentally thinking about, you're going to be going through a mental process of now again, this is a general reading. This is not going to apply to everybody, but for some of you, you've either relocated to faraway lands, or there is something happening in faraway lands, Pisces, and there's some sadness there. So it could be that something's occurred far away that has been an elimination, a purging. Now, one thing I do want to say, and this has come up in two of the other readings, there is an exponential amount of very intense global processes that are going on now, politically, The Brexit just happened actually this morning. The UK did vote to leave the EU. There are just multitudes. There are religious sites that are being destroyed by governments. There are Buddhist camps and Buddhist schools that are being destroyed by the Chinese. It goes on and on and on. And what I want to say is this. You could have some sadness about what's going on across the ocean, here or there or everywhere. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of processing, a lot of death. You know, as I filmed this, Sinead O'Connor, not to bring too much to the reading here, but it actually could apply to some of you, is maybe why I want to bring this up for you in your reading. But Sinead O'Connor, you know, called from a bridge. She was going to commit suicide. And this comes a month after she had said that she was going to harm herself, and she disappeared and people found her in a hotel room. This is a suicidal time. This is a suicidal time, and it's a depressing time. So a lot of depression is very activated. It's not that it has to be that way per se, but it is the energetic tendency. It's the Neptune-Saturn square, and it's causing great uproar within our psyches because what we thought we knew to be true isn't true. So the mutability, as in this mutable Grand Cross, the mutability of life is actually calling us to match it. So we're having to mutate in order to match what's going on. So for some of you, I do sense that you are gonna, now look at this. This is like a tear. This is like a tear. There is gonna be sadness, Pisces, for some of you. I do think it has to do with some of what's going on a global stage. I just do. I think a lot of you are sensitive, you're empathetic, you're compassionate, and I think you're going to be very tuned in to certain things going on the global stage. So I do, in fact, think you are going to be processing stuff that's happening in other lands, period. Now, I also think that you're going to be experiencing a bit of fear that's coming up around maybe now we're going into the summertime. We are now in the summer season in the Northern Hemisphere. And it could be that because of things going on overseas, you might now have fear about a trip that you had planned, or fear about some playful adventure that you actually were either planning or wanted to plan. So that could actually be causing some fear. And by the way, it is a scary time right now. It's very scary. So you might, dear Pisces, have some fear around limits that are now imposed upon a lot of us, you know, self-imposed limits, but really logistical limits too, with regards to shifts and changes in the world and in your life. So I'm speaking, I think this root might be global events. I actually think this has to do with some personal stuff that's going on for you specifically. It has to do with the man. So emotionally, you're going to be confused about a man stopping money. So there's going to be some ceasing of monetary support, perhaps, for some of you Pisces out there. Okay, so perhaps you used to have money coming in, but now you're confused because man has stopped the income flow. All right. So for some of you on a personal level, there's going to be some sadness. There's going to be some confusion, and you are going to be processing that which has been eliminated, ceased, stopped. And you're going to fear your ability to actually just have fun. That's what I'm getting. You're going to have some fear about, gosh, you know, things are changing in my life, maybe also on the global stage. I'm really tapped into it. How are we to move forward in joy and bliss? I will tell you that is what is happening ultimately. But yeah, we are going to go through a pretty difficult, challenging few years, I think. Okay. So let's take a look at this. First of all, for me, this easily came. It essentially started with this curve, but it didn't want to be an arc. It wanted to be what turned out to be an eyebrow, okay? This is an eye. This wanted to become an eye. This is clarity. I have different spheres, and this wanted to be a clear quartz crystal for you. There is clear seeing, dear Pisces. You are seeing clearly what's going on. You're seeing clearly. I do think that this could be a tear. I think that there could be indeed some sadness coming up, which of course the sadness card did come up. So, but this is the deal. This is the deal. It could be that the tear kind of, I don't know, it almost grounds you. Notice that there's three. There's these three, and by the way, three's been coming up quite a bit in these artistic channelings. It could very well be, Pisces, that from the sadness that is spurned by your clear seeing of your life, of global events, that you are indeed spurred into action creatively. 3 is the number of creation. And it could be that your sadness is boosting you. It's the catalyzing effect. It's the fire at your belly that is creating, I have to say, something creative that wants to come. By the way, 3 is also communication, and it's networking, it's community. So it could be that there is some creative evolution that comes, some emergent creative process, project, some communication process, community coming together. And guess what? This beautiful bad boy is very powerful, this piece. And I've not used this for any of the other signs yet. So this foundation at the base of this clear seeing eye that has the sadness that's spurring action for creative collaboration and creative emergence. Healing. This is healing. Selenite is powerful. And I see that it's almost like you're creating a new foundation for yourself. So whatever process, Pisces, that you're moving through this month, you are creating a new foundation of your seeing, of your clarity, of your foundations. That's just what's happening. Now, let's take a look. So, Heroine came up for you out in the park. This is the archetypal maturation. What is it that's called? Who are you to actually grow? What are you to grow in yourself, to mature in yourself during the course of this very intense cycle? What wants to be evolved is escapism and a false sense of heroism. Now, I have to tell you, this escapism is very powerful because, look at this. You have fear of play, fear that play is going away. That's coming up for you this month, at least for a lot of you. So you do have fear that, gosh, you know what? The world is becoming pretty serious. I am going to need to step up my game. I am going to need to do the creation, do the writing, do the communicating in order to create the new foundation for the world. Not just for my life, but for the world. And you are going to have fun and play, but you know what? Maybe not like you were, you know? And what wants to be brought forward, what wants to be evolved is passion for a journey of personal empowerment. This is about you really taking it on. Ride the wave, Pisces, because this is your time. This is your time. This is the time for all of us that are awake and aware about what's going on in the world. This is it. The time is now. The curtain has opened. So you are called to be the hero in your own life story. And you know what? Maybe in the world story as well. That's kind of what I'm picking up. I think it's both and for you. It's both and for all of us. But in this case, I really pick up that there's almost like two threads of storyline here. They're linked, but there's 2 threads. So let's move on and see what your Dakini has for you. Hi everyone. Your I Ching micro story, a general energetic theme that's playing out for your particular sign, is listed on the card that you're reading now, as is your optimal goddess embodiment, the Dakini embodiment. Who are you to become to ride this June wave optimally. In order to save time this month, I'm just recording this once. And if you'd like, for those interested, because not everybody is, you are free to visit my website and go to the online library where you can find the information for both your I Ching and your Dakini. Okay, everyone. So that completes the alchemy scopes for this cycle, July 2016, our Cancer new moon cycle, which now the new moons are really aligning predominantly with the month, which is fantastic. So it's going to be a bit easier and more aligned for people to understand, you know, how these are running. But for any of you out there that are desiring one-on-one guidance, my website is below. There's a list of services. For those of you interested in understanding your soul's narratives, the storylines that live within, the storylines that were encoded within you to be healed, matured, and evolved, you as an aspect of consciousness, I have a package called the Who Am I package, and it involves the receipt of 2 different profiles, a video explaining the profiles, and a personal 90-minute one-on-one session with me. And I'm going to link that somewhere on the video and or below the video. So I invite, this really is a time for those of you interested in getting to know yourselves at a very deep, authentic level, but that is connected to the deeper realities of the strata of living systems, which is the storied archetypal symbolic realm. I invite you to reach out. And I also have one-on-one sessions. So for those of you interested in your own personal alchemy scope, I offer those. There's a list of services and products. So I want to thank you again so much for those of you that sent me well wishes during the last couple months. It's been meaningful, and I really appreciate it. And I so see and honor the processes happening within each of you as well. So we're all riding the wave, and we're all working through our processes. And it really is a hero's journey. There's just nothing else to say about it. This is a hero's journey. So you're doing a fabulous job. Let July and let the rest of this summer have the remnants of this mutable grand cross activations and the grand earth trine. Let it mutate you so that it allows you to free your mind, free the resistance, so that you can go with the flow. Going with the flow is the answer. But also being discerning and also owning your power. So there's like 3 various components to this process as we remember and remind this state of our wholeness, our whole soul, where we're going, who we are, and what we're here to do. It's a big storyline that we're working. So I'm sending you lots of love and infinite support. I'll talk to you next month.